When he talks like this, understand one thing immediately: he's not confused, he's not overwhelmed, he's not figuring things out. He is using you, and you can identify at the moment his words are designed to keep you hopeful, but never committed, comforted but never secure, attached but never respected. This isn't about blaming him. It's about waking you up to the reality that your time, your energy, and your emotional life are too valuable to be spent on someone who benefits from your presence while giving you nothing real in return. The truth is simple. A man who wants you shows it with clarity, not poetry. He shows it with consistency, not excuses. He shows it through action, not emotional crumbs tossed your way at the exact moment he fears losing access to you. And if his voice only grows warm when he senses you pulling away, that's not love, it's strategy. It's an attempt to keep the door cracked open so he can walk in whenever he wants, without ever staying long enough to build anything meaningful. You've been told to be patient, to understand him, to give him space, to be low pressure. But here's the reality you must face. Patience becomes self-betrayal when it's used as a leash on your potential. Understanding becomes weakness when you're understanding a man who refuses to understand you. Space becomes manipulation when he uses it to disappear until it benefits him to return. You don't need to wait for him to get ready. If he's ready for your body, for your emotional support, for your attention, then he's ready for honesty. If he hides behind half-truths, blurred intentions, and emotional ambiguity, it's because clarity would expose the fact that he's not willing to give you what he knows you want. And instead of letting you walk away, he would rather keep you confused, because confusion is the best tool for control. People who fear losing you speak clearly. People who fear losing access speak vaguely. This speech is not about bitterness. It is about responsibility. Your responsibility to stop rewarding inconsistency with your loyalty. Every time you respond to the message he sends at midnight, every time you allow him back after disappearing for days, every time you let his words outweigh his actions, you are training him. You are teaching him that he can have the benefits of you without the commitment to you. The world doesn't treat you the way you deserve. It treats you the way you permit. And the moment you choose to raise your standards, you will no longer be used. Because men who seek convenience do not chase women with boundaries. They retreat, they vanish. They look for someone easier, someone they can confuse, someone who isn't awake yet, and that is a blessing. Let him leave. A person who walks away when you set a boundary is proving that the boundary was necessary. You must understand that your life moves in proportion to the truth you are willing to confront. You don't rise by hoping someone will change. You rise by changing what you tolerate. If a man talks in a way that keeps you guessing, if he gives you the language of affection without the structure of commitment, you owe yourself the courage to walk away. Not because you're punishing him, but because you are protecting you. There is nothing noble about staying loyal to someone who is only loyal to his advantages. You were not built to be a placeholder, a backup plan, or a temporary emotional escape. You were built to be chosen fully, intentionally, and without hesitation. And a man who truly sees you will choose you without needing to be convinced. Your strength is not found in how long you can endure mixed signals. It is found in how quickly you can recognize them and step away. Power is refusing to cling to someone who only speaks beautifully when he fears losing the benefits you provide. Power is not waiting for his inconsistency to become commitment. Power is remembering that your heart is not a playground for unfinished men. You were not put on this earth to be used. You were put here to grow, to elevate, to build a life rooted in authenticity and dignity. And the first step toward that life is refusing to let someone's vague words dictate your worth. Walk away from the man who talks like this. Not because he is evil, but because you are finally choosing yourself. Manipulation always hides behind vagueness. And the moment you understand that, your entire life changes. People who intend to treat you well speak with clarity. People who intend to use you speak in shadows, half-truths, blurred intentions, words that sound warm but lead nowhere. Vagueness is not accidental. It is a deliberate strategy. It gives them the benefits of your presence without the responsibility of commitment. It keeps you hoping, guessing, waiting, and doubting yourself. And the more uncertain you become, the more control they gain. When someone wants to manipulate you, they don't attack your strength. They attack your certainty. They make you question what you heard, what you felt, what you saw, even what you know deep inside. The confusion is the point. Because as long as you're confused, you can't take decisive action. As long as you're unsure, you'll stay exactly where they want you to be, available, patient, forgiving, and emotionally invested in something that was never real. They use vagueness to blur the line between intention and obligation. Notice how they speak. We'll see. I'm not ready, but I don't want to lose you. Let's just go with the flow. Don't overthink it. I need time, I'm figuring things out. Every vague sentence serves the same purpose: to buy them more access to your energy without giving you the respect of clarity. They want the comfort of you without the commitment to you. They want your loyalty without offering stability. They want the emotional security you provide, while giving you the emotional uncertainty that benefits them. And you start absorbing the confusion as if it's your fault. You begin to believe you're too demanding for wanting answers. You begin to think you're asking for too much when all you're asking for is honesty. You overlook their inconsistency. You accept their excuses. You start shrinking yourself just to maintain a connection that is draining you. That shrinking is exactly what manipulation looks like. Not force, not threats, not loud cruelty, just subtle uncertainty wrapped in charming words. And the dangerous part is this: vague people don't need to lie to you directly. They only need to give you enough emotional breadcrumbs to keep you walking toward a future they never intend to build. They give you just enough hope to stay, just enough sweetness to ignore the bitterness, just enough attention to make you believe things will change. They never give you closure, because closure would free you. They never give you clarity, because clarity would empower you. They never give you truth, because truth would expose their intentions. Instead, they surround you with ambiguity, and you start filling in the blank with who you wish they were, not who they've proven themselves to be. But here is the turning point. Vagueness is not a puzzle for you to solve, it is a warning for you to recognize. You are not supposed to decode someone's behavior like a cryptic message. You are supposed to see the inconsistency and choose yourself over confusion. The moment someone cannot give you clarity, the moment their words contradict their actions, the moment they make you feel crazy for wanting honesty, that is the moment you must stop negotiating. You cannot build a stable life on unstable communication. You cannot build trust on uncertainty. You cannot build a future with someone who hides their intentions but demands your loyalty. And you must understand this truth: honest people are not vague. People with genuine intentions do not speak in riddles. Someone who cares for you does not keep you guessing, they keep you grounded. Someone who respects you does not blur the lines they define them. Someone who values you does not hide behind maybe later, they show up now. The right people make their intentions obvious, not mysterious. The wrong people make confusion feel normal, because chaos is the environment where they thrive. Your life will change the moment you stop treating vagueness as something to tolerate and start treating it as an answer. You don't need a man to tell you he's not serious. Vagueness tells you. You don't need someone to admit they're using you. Patterns reveal it. You don't need a confession. You just need to trust what the uncertainty is showing you. Mixed signals are a clear message. Inconsistency is a decision. Silence is communication. Vagueness is clarity in disguise. Walking away from vagueness is not weakness. It is strength. It means you finally understand your value. It means you refuse to have your emotions manipulated by someone who benefits from your confusion. It means you are done letting someone keep you on standby while they explore their options. It means you are choosing a life built on truth, not illusion. You deserve someone who shows up with intention, not someone who hides behind "let's see where this goes." You deserve someone who makes you feel safe, not someone who keeps you anxious. You deserve someone who communicates honestly, not someone who manipulates quietly. And the moment you walk away from vagueness, everything becomes clear. Your mind settles, your heart steadies, your standards rise. You begin to see how much of your peace was sacrificed to maintain a connection that was never meant to grow. You reclaim your power by refusing to play games. You build a life where clarity is the foundation, not a privilege. And in that life, you are no longer used, drained, or manipulated. You are respected, chosen, and valued by yourself first, and by others who recognize your worth without needing to be convinced. Manipulation only works when you stay confused. Strength begins the moment you choose clarity over comfort, truth over fantasy, and self-respect over someone's vague promises. Your value is revealed by the standards you enforce, and the moment you understand that, you stop negotiating with people who rely on your softness to take advantage of you. Standards are not rules you make for others, they are boundaries you set for yourself. They are the line between respecting your worth and allowing someone to diminish it. When you raise your standards, you don't become difficult. You become impossible to exploit. You stop accepting half-love, half-truths, half-effort, and half-time. You stop tolerating people who only show up when it benefits them. You stop giving chances to those who consistently choose your absence over your presence. Standards are not walls, they are filters. They don't shut people out, they reveal who was never meant to stay. People treat you according to what you allow. If you accept inconsistency, you will receive it. If you allow disrespect once, you will see it again. If you make excuses for someone's behavior, you give them permission to continue. Your standards are the blueprint for how others learn to love you, value you, and show up for you. When you lower them, you teach people that your worth is negotiable. When you enforce them, you teach people that access to you is a privilege, not a right, and the right people will always rise to the standards you set, not because they fear losing you, but because they recognize your value and want to match it. You must understand something crucial. The moment you accept less than you deserve, you become responsible for the treatment you receive. And that responsibility is not a burden, it is power. It means you are not helpless. It means you are not a victim of other people's behavior. It means you have control over who you let into your life and how long they get to stay. People will show you who they are very quickly. The problem is not that you cannot see it, the problem is that you hope it will change. Standards protect you from this hope. They keep you grounded in reality instead of getting lost in fantasy. They force you to pay attention to actions instead of words, behavior instead of promises, consistency instead of charm. The truth is simple but brutal. People who want to use you will always push against your standards. They will tell you you're too demanding. They will say you're overreacting. They will make you feel guilty for wanting clarity, honesty, and effort. But remember, this only people who benefit from you having no standards will ever complain about the ones you have. The right person will never be intimidated by your boundaries. They will be relieved by them. People with honest intentions welcome order, not chaos. They appreciate structure. They respect requirements. Only those who seek convenience fear standards, because standards expose who they truly are. Your standards are also deeply connected to your self-respect. When you raise your standards, you stop chasing people who walk away. You stop proving your worth to those who were never trying to understand you. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into places where you were not meant to belong. You stop allowing emotional crumbs to feed your hunger for connection. You stop fighting for relationships that drain you. You stop giving loyalty to people who haven't earned it. The moment you enforce higher standards is the moment you outgrow environments that require you to betray yourself just to stay. Life becomes clearer when your standards become stronger. You stop misreading signals because you no longer interpret confusion as chemistry. You no longer mistake inconsistency as mixed feelings. You stop calling disrespect a rough patch. You stop romanticizing emotional unavailability. You stop settling for the bare minimum. Standards sharpen your vision. They allow you to see who truly values you and who only values what they can take from you. They expose the people who show up only when it's easy and disappear when effort is required. Most importantly, your standards shape the world you live in. When you refuse to tolerate emotional manipulation, manipulators leave. When you refuse to accept disrespect, disrespectful people flee. When you require honesty, liars distance themselves. When you demand effort, lazy love fades. Your standards purify your environment without you having to chase or punish anyone. You simply stand firm, and everything not meant for you naturally falls away. What remains are people who choose you with intention, not convenience. People who show up consistently, not conditionally. People who respect your boundaries because they respect your value. But enforcing standards requires courage. Courage to walk away. Courage to say no. Courage to be alone rather than poorly accompanied. You will lose people when you enforce your standards. But understand this clearly. You are not losing anything valuable. You are losing people who are gaining too much from your lack of boundaries. You are losing the weight that was keeping you from rising. You are losing the noise that was drowning your intuition. You are losing those who were never strong enough to meet you where you stand. Let them go. Your standards were not the reason they left. They were the reason you finally saw their true intentions. Your life will elevate the moment you refuse to lower your standards for anyone. No matter how much you want them, love them, or hope they'll change. You set the price for entry into your world. You decide what energy you accept. You decide what behavior is allowed. You decide who gets the privilege of your presence. That decision shapes your relationships, your peace, your confidence, and your future. Enforce your standards without apology. The strongest version of you is waiting on the other side of every boundary you honor. Emotional responsibility is power, and the moment you take ownership of your inner world, you stop being controlled by people who depend on your reactions to manipulate you. Power doesn't come from shutting down or pretending you don't feel anything. It comes from understanding your emotions so deeply that no one can use them against you. It comes from refusing to hand your peace, your stability, or your decisions to someone who only shows up when it benefits them. Emotional responsibility means you stop waiting for someone else to fix what they never built. It means you stop demanding closure from people who never intended to give it. It means you stop expecting consistency from those who thrive on keeping you confused. You take back your power the moment you realize that your emotions are not weapons other people get to aim. Your emotions are signals you get to interpret, boundaries you get to enforce, truths you get to act on. When you hold yourself emotionally responsible, you no longer crumble when someone disappoints you. You evaluate, you observe, you adjust. You don't beg for clarity. You create clarity through your actions. If someone's words and behavior don't align, you don't chase them for an explanation. You let the contradiction reveal the truth. Emotional responsibility frees you from the exhausting cycle of overthinking. People who don't deserve that level of space in your mind. You stop replaying conversations, trying to find meaning where there is none. You stop rewriting their excuses into reason. You stop carrying the weight of people who refuse to carry even their share. Instead, you choose reality over hope, patterns over promises, and self-respect over attachment. People who lack emotional responsibility always want you to take accountability for their behavior. If they hurt you, they blame your reaction. If they disappear, they blame your expectations. If they disrespect you, they blame your standards. They turn your pain into their excuse and your compassion into their opportunity. And the more you absorb their chaos as your responsibility, the more they control you. Emotional responsibility breaks this cycle. It forces you to stop apologizing for their behavior. It forces you to stop fixing problems you didn't create. It forces you to stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Instead, you shift the focus where it belongs, on your choices, your boundaries, your future. This is where strength is born. When you stop saying, "He made me feel this way," and start saying, "I will no longer allow this," you become untouchable. When you stop depending on someone else's validation to feel valuable, you become unstoppable. When you stop internalizing someone's inconsistencies as reflections of your worth, you become unshakable. Emotional responsibility does not protect you from pain. It protects you from staying in pain longer than necessary because you stop waiting for someone else to heal you. You heal yourself by walking away, by choosing clarity, by choosing truth, by choosing yourself. You must understand that the people who benefit from your emotional instability will always try to keep you uncertain. They will give you mixed signals. They will act unavailable until you start losing interest, then show affection just enough to pull you back in. They will disappear when you need them and reappear when they need you. But emotional responsibility means you stop allowing someone's inconsistency to dictate your emotional landscape. You no longer get excited by empty intensity. You no longer get attached to potential. You no longer cling to moments and ignore patterns. Instead, you ground yourself in what is real. You make decisions based on evidence, not desire. You don't wait for them to change, you change how you respond. The reason emotional responsibility is power is because it makes you immune to manipulation. Manipulators thrive on reaction. They feed on confusion. They weaponize your empathy. But when you remain calm, centered, and self-directed, they lose access to the buttons they once pushed. Suddenly, the excuses that used to pull you back and no longer move you. The mixed messages that once shattered your confidence no longer control you. The silence that used to hurt you becomes clarity, not confusion. When you take emotional responsibility, you stop dancing with inconsistency. You stop entertaining uncertainty. You stop responding to half effort with full investment. And this internal strength transforms your entire life. Your relationships become healthier because you no longer tolerate emotional instability. Your decisions become wiser because they are no longer driven by impulse or fear. Your confidence grows because you trust yourself to handle whatever comes. And most importantly, you stop mistaking attachment for love. You see people clearly, not for who you want them to be, but for who they consistently show you they are. And when someone shows you they cannot meet you where you stand, you don't try to drag them up. You let them go. Emotional responsibility is not coldness. It is maturity. It is alignment. It is clarity. It is the refusal to abandon yourself while trying to hold on to someone who abandons you repeatedly. It is the decision to protect your peace, even when your heart is tempted to break its own boundaries. It is the strength to say, "I deserve better," and then follow through with action. You become powerful the moment you stop giving people the power to destabilize you. Because your emotions are not weaknesses, they are warnings. They are wisdom. They are reminders of what your soul knows before your mind understands. When you take responsibility for your emotional world, you step into your highest strength. You stop reacting. You start directing. You stop chasing. You start choosing. You stop breaking. You start becoming. And the life that follows is one built on truth, clarity, and self-respect. Because emotional responsibility is not just power, it is freedom. A strong life requires ruthless honesty. And the moment you commit to that level of truth, your entire world shifts, not because truth is comfortable, because it is liberating. Strength doesn't come from pretending everything is fine. Strength comes from confronting the realities you've been avoiding, acknowledging the people who are wrong for you, admitting the habits that hold you back, and facing the parts of yourself you've tried to hide. Ruthless honesty is not cruelty, it is clarity. It strips away illusions, excuses, and wishful thinking. It forces you to see life as it is, not as you want it to be. And only when you see your life clearly can you build something strong, stable, and meaningful. Lies, especially the ones you tell yourself, are the foundation of weakness. Truth is the foundation of power. Ruthless honesty means admitting when someone doesn't care as much as you hoped they did. It means acknowledging when a relationship is draining you more than it's building you. It means accepting that mixed signals are not signs of confusion. They are signs of someone who refuses to choose you. You cannot develop a strong life while clinging to fantasies. You cannot grow while telling yourself stories to soften reality. The truth might break your heart for a moment, but lies break your life over time. And the longer you avoid the truth, the deeper the damage becomes. People stay stuck for years, not because they lack opportunities, but because they refuse to be honest about the situations they're in. They blame luck, circumstances, timing, anything but their own refusal to confront reality. Ruthless honesty tears away the fog and shows you exactly what needs to change. A strong life demands that you stop lying to yourself about your own patterns. You cannot grow if you won't admit the habits that sabotage you. You cannot rise if you cling to excuses. You cannot become your strongest self if you defend your weaknesses more passionately than your potential. Honesty means admitting when you're procrastinating, when you're avoiding discomfort, when you're settling for less, because it's easier than raising your standards. It means acknowledging the ways you contribute to your own suffering. This is not about self-blame. It is about self-awareness. When you take ownership of your patterns, you gain the power to change them. When you justify them, they own you. A strong life begins the moment you stop explaining your limitations and start confronting them. Ruthless honesty also requires you to face the people you allow into your life. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your loyalty, your time, your energy, or your heart. Some people stay close only because you refuse to see the truth. They drain you, manipulate you, or use your kindness as currency. You cannot build strength while surrounding yourself with people who benefit from your weakness. You cannot create a powerful life while allowing emotional parasites to feed on your resilience. Ruthless honesty demands that you see people for who they are, not who you hope they'll become. It means watching behavior, not believing words. It means measuring consistency, not falling for charm. It means letting go of anyone who forces you to lower your self-respect in order to keep them. And yes, ruthless honesty is uncomfortable. It forces you to confront the parts of your life where you've been choosing comfort over growth. It demands that you admit when something isn't working, even if you've invested time, love, hope, or effort into it. But the discomfort is temporary. The strength it builds is permanent. When you choose honesty, you choose direction. You choose clarity. You choose progress. You choose yourself. The truth may feel harsh in the moment, but it gives you back your control. Lies feel soft, but they steal your future. A strong life is built on decisions made from truth, not denial. You can't heal what you refuse to face. You can't fix what you pretend is fine. You can't move forward while holding on to illusions. Ruthless honesty says, here is the reality now, what are you going to do with it? And the moment you answer that question with action, you step into a new level of power. You stop waiting for people to change. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You stop waiting for external validation. Instead, you start making choices that align with your values, your goals, and your self-respect. You start raising your standards. You start protecting your peace. You start building a life that reflects your truth, not your fears. Ruthless honesty also reveals your strength in the face of loss. When you let go of what is no longer good for you, you create space for what is. When you stop lying to yourself about someone's potential, you allow real love, real respect, and real loyalty to enter your life. When you stop pretending that mediocrity is enough, excellence begins to find you. Honesty doesn't destroy relationships, it exposes the ones that were never real. Honesty doesn't break your life, it breaks the illusions that were keeping you small. A strong life requires ruthless honesty, because truth is the only solid ground you can build on. Everything else collapses eventually. When you live honestly with yourself, with others, and with your choices, you become unshakable. Your relationships become healthier. Your decisions become wiser. Your confidence becomes unbreakable. Your direction becomes clear. And your life becomes aligned with who you truly are, not who you pretended to be. Ruthless honesty isn't harshness. It's liberation. It is the courage to face reality so you can rise above it. It is the strength to stop lying to yourself so you can finally build a life worthy of your potential. A strong life starts with truth unfiltered, unsoftened, and undeniable, because once you see the truth, you will never again settle for anything less than the strength, clarity, and freedom that honesty brings.